1 scale. This airplane here has already been scaled to the correct scale that we'd like to print it out at. So to print it out at that, first thing we're going to need to do is create some alignment grids because this covers multiple pages. So to create the alignment grids, what I'm going to do is select everything by using Control A, select everything, and change the page size so that it includes everything that's on here. And if you push Control Shift D, that will bring up the document properties. Then we can do resize page to content. Push this button here. Now the page includes everything that's there. So now what we can do is add the grid. To add the grid, we will come up here to Extensions, Render, Grids, and Grid. That brings up this box here. Now this file is at a 96 dots per inch or 96 pixels per inch. So if we set the horizontal and vertical spacing to 96, that will give a 1 inch by 1 inch grid. And the line width, I'm just going to put it 3 for now, just so we can see it. We can change that after. And we don't need any horizontal or vertical offset. So we hit apply to this, and then close. You can't see it yet. And sometimes it doesn't show up on the actual page for some reason. If we push the number 4, it will zoom out to everything. Now you can see it's over here. We're just going to click it and drag it over to our actual paper area. Now push the number 4 again and it will zoom into everything there. Now you can see we have our grid here. Now I'm going to click on the grid and just make a couple of little tweaks. If we push Control Shift F, that will bring up our fill and stroke styles. I'm going to change it so the line width is a little smaller. Don't need it that big. There, it's a little better. And I'm also going to change it to blue. Just click and drag that all the way up on the blue. Just so it's a different color than everything else in this. Now we can change the page size so that it's actually a printable size. So we'll come back to our document properties with either with Shift Control D or it's open already, so we can just click on it over here. And we're going to go to custom size here. I'm going to make it in landscape just for this example, but you could do either way. The paper is 8.5 by 11, and usually there's a little bit of a border around the outside that you can't print on. So we're going to make this 10.5 by 8 to just leave a 1/4 inch all the way around. Just so that when we print it out, it actually is all printed and we don't miss anything on the edges. Now you can see we have our paper. This is our actual paper size. So now that's all we need to do is drag the image, the part of the image over that paper that we'd like to print. So we're going to do, as an example, this horizontal stabilizer here. So now do Control A again to select everything. We always want to move everything so that the grids move with it and we don't get any alignment problems. We want to move the grids with stuff we're printing. So you'll see now if we click and drag, we can move a section of this up to the paper here, and we'll just start with the end of it there. If we hold down Control and use the middle mouse wheel, we can zoom in on that a little bit. That's what we're going to be printing is this area here. Now if we go to, what we're going to do is export this to a picture, a PNG picture. If we do Control Shift E, that will bring up the export window over here. And we're going to export the page. That's what we've set up the page size to be the correct paper size. So if we click on page here, you'll see here that this is the 96 DPI that I was referring to before. That's how we know that this grid is going to be 1 by 1, 1 inch by 1 inch. And this is our paper size, is 1008 pixels by 768 pixels. That's our 10.5 by 8 inches. Now we can export this. We'll do an export as so that we can change the name and where it's going to. Just put it on the desktop as a P63 test. I'm going to make it test 2. And we'll push the save button. Okay, now we have this section here saved as a picture. Now we're going to go to a different program to actually print that out, because the printing in Inkscape is a little bit inconsistent sometimes depending on your printer that you're using. So I'm going to bring up this program called View. I will put a link in the description to where you can download this. So if we come in here and we open the file that we just created, which is this test2 file, open that. Now there we go. This is the picture that we just exported. Now we just need to print it. Control P, or push this little print icon up there. Now I have a profile already created, so I'm just going to load that, but you'll see what the settings are here. So I just have it on auto rotate, so it'll go to either landscape or portrait, depending on how we've set up the other export. On original size, this is the important thing here that gets us to the correct size. This is on inches, which I'm not sure that really matters, because I think the original size will take care of that. And you'll see over here in the resulting image size that it says 10.5 by 8.02. I'm not exactly sure why this doesn't show exactly 8. It should be, but it does seem to be accurate when you print it out anyway. So now if you just select the printer that you have and hit print, you should get what you need. So if you do these settings and then come down here and hit save, you can create a new profile like I did. Then every time you come in here, you can just load that and you'll be ready to go. So that's really all there is to it. Now once you print this out, you'll have that section there. Now to print out more pages, we're going to jump back over to Inkscape. And that's all you really have to do here is just, once again, make sure everything is selected with Control A. And then we're just going to move to another section of whatever we'd like to print out. And just make sure that it's overlapped some compared to what you just printed so that you can align these grids after you print it out and cut and tape things together. So now we can do another export. Control Shift E to go to the export. Once again, do page, P63 test. I'll say 3. No, that's not the right area. Desktop. Test 3. Save that. Now back over to View. Open that file. And now if we do the print, we can load that previous. There we go. Now we're all set for this one. Once again, it's at 10.5 by 8. Hit the print button after you select the printer, and good to go. And then it's just keep repeating that process to get however many sections of the drawing that you'd like to print out. Print them out and cut them and paste them together, and you'll be in good shape. All right, that's it for now. See ya.